Hey guys, you're listening to the Anderson Business Advisors Business Brief. This is Toby Mathis, and today I'm really lucky to have Van Kraza with us from Operation Surf. Hey man, how you doing?
Dude, I'm just loving life, living the dream. What can I say?
Yeah, Van's awesome. I just put him on the spot and told him, hey, we're going to record this because we were having a really good conversation. So he's playing good. Hey Van, how did you get started? Like, just give us the thumbnail sketch of where Operation Surf came along.
Well, the bottom line is I going through my own journey of recovery, through addiction, I had found that that one of my solutions for my journey and my self-worth and everything for me is to be of service to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had 5 years of sobriety, and through my process, I realized that I was a very selfish person, even though I didn't really believe it. And so I started wanting to give back, and I started a program, Amazing Surf Adventures, for at-risk and underserved youth. And as I went into this process, I had my surf school in Pismo Beach, and I had a guy, Rodney Roller, that was working for me. He was an amputee surfer.
Mm-hmm.
And back in, I think it was 2006, a Navy corpsman was recovering at the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas, and he asked Janice Rasnowski, that was the founder of Operation Comfort, that he wanted to go surfing, and so she said, "Find someone to take you surfing, and I will."
She's looking cute. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. So he reached out, found Rodney Roller. Rodney Roller worked for me, and then we started the process of helping active duty warriors in transition that were recovering from the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. Due to the bridge of what Janice Rasnowski gave us from Operation Comfort, and it just started the whole process. So
we can edit it if you want to take care of your daughter. We can edit it out. Unless you're cool with her, like I have no problem with her just hanging out with us.
Hey, I mean, if it's real, it's real, and we're working from home, and some of us are sharing the duties with our children, and
she's streaking back there. I love it.
Oh my God!
People don't realize this, but you were a big wave surfer, professional surfer, right?
Yeah. I got around a little bit.
But Operation Surf isn't just like some fly by night. You guys have been on Netflix. I saw that you've done a lot of really good. In fact, I'd encourage anybody to go out there. I'll post your website and everything, but you've done so much good for our military members who come back with PTSD. And those who know me know that that's one of the areas that we really that I'm very passionate about, is this idea that so many of our service members are taking their own lives. And so you really zero in on that. And so you work with service members primarily, right?
Yeah, that's our focus right now is to be good at what we want to do, and to branch out in our future to be able to help other populations. But, really what it's all about is just, it's human connection, and being relatable, and to be suggestive instead of, giving directions and stuff. So it's
So what do you do? So let's just say right now a veteran comes back, they're suffering from PTSD. Do they get referred to your organization, or do they just reach out?
Well, it's been a long process, is because one of our first national exposure was through ESPN. They did a Veterans Day special, and it went national for quite a few quite a few months, because for different occasions, they kept sharing it like a couple of times during halftime at NFL football games and stuff. And so we started getting inquiries from all over the United States. And also with that, we were, when we were doing our programs in our locations in San Luis Obispo and Santa Cruz, we were getting local people that wanted to be involved, and we were only serving the population of warriors in transition from the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. So we started opening up about 5 or 6 from the hospital, 5 or 6 from within 100 miles of each location, and then 5 or 6 from all over the United States through an application process.
And so were they referred over to you then by the hospital saying, hey, this is somebody who could really use your program?
Well, we work with a recreational therapist there at the CFI, and they have recreational programs that they do that are directed to getting them out and doing things outdoors, and that connection that Janice Rasnowski gave us with Heather Carey it is what our foundation has been for the past 11 or 12 years now. She has her patients going through the process, and then they, she has the best fit. Kaya, she has the best.
We're keeping it real, man.
She just has the best fit that would benefit from coming, and then they have to be cleared to all the way from the upper, from the general of the, okay.
You got to pick her up and put her on your lap. What's her name?
Okay. Her name is Kaya.
Hi, Kaya.
Kaya, you're going to say hello to everybody?
Hi, Kaya. That's really cool. Hey, man, I love kids, so everybody does. And we were all that age, so I don't even want to mess around with edits and stuff. Let's just roll with it. She seems like a sweetheart. How old is she?
She's 3 years old.
Can she surf?
She likes the beach. Sometimes it's a little challenging because it's kind of cold around here. So, when it gets nice out, I take her, because that last thing I want to do is create any type of fear, in her mind to like keep her from wanting to develop a love for the ocean. So she loves it right now, and it's just it's ongoing. So
I bet you that it's good to have some young'uns around too, and some of these guys. Did she come and help with when you're doing the camps and stuff?
Well, yeah, she just brings a lot of smiles. I mean,
that's what you do.
Who can
so
have a kid?
So I want to get back to the serious side of this, because we have a lot of warriors that come back, and so it sounds like you have a great connection. And this is what's interesting: they figured out that getting people out into nature and into the ocean is actually helpful for combating the PTSD, right?
Yes, there's studies, there's data on it. So yeah, truth.
And so, and I've seen some of your programs. Not everybody else has seen the programs, and I would really encourage anybody who listens to this to go see. I'll put a bunch of them up, because the ESPN, and you did a great program with Netflix, and there's a bunch of stuff online. But you're talking about people that have been blown up, have serious injuries, that are going out and learning to surf. In fact, I saw a guy, quite literally, if I'm not mistaken, missing both legs and an arm, and he's still up there. He's getting up on a longboard. That's absolutely amazing.
There's quite a few. We got, Bo, and we got Martin, the one limb surfer, that surfing has absolutely changed his whole purpose in life, and he shreds.
What was that like, getting him up the first time?
Well, it's funny is because, coming into the program is the image of most people have of surfing is standing on two legs and standing on a surfboard. And so their attitude about not surfing is really minimized, because they don't think they're going to be able to surf. And that's when I tell them, like, you're not going to surf like me. You're going to surf like you. We're going to teach you what makes a surfboard work, how a surfboard works, and what it takes to catch a wave. And you're going to surf like you. And that's why in a bunch of our videos, you see double amputees doing handstands and stuff, is because we use, professional surf instructors that people have been, making, their life out of surfing, guiding one-on-one instruction to our warriors in transition. And, we get them to do things that they never thought they were going to do. And I guess when you have a platform that you're able to succeed a goal and surpass it, that's where your self-worth and self-efficacy starts coming from, is because surfing is a perfect platform, because you're not only in Mother Nature, in the ocean and water, you're in a platform that you could reach small obtainable goals and surpass multiple in one day. And so when you actually leave a good day of surfing with the proper mentorship and guidance, you could actually accomplish things that you never ever thought you can do, in just in one day. And so when you leave from anything of succeeding something, I mean, when you really think about it, when you set a goal out and you achieve it, you feel good. And if you do that multiple times during the day, you're going to feel great. So that's kind of like one of the beautiful parts about it is it's, what Operation Surf does. It's just, we dangle the carrot of surfing to get people around other people with like-minded problems that that get a chance to see not only themselves, but experience others to motivate their willingness to keep moving forward with their wellness.
How did you end up concentrating on on warriors suffering from PTSD and all these things? Like, what brought you to that? Did somebody reach out to you, or did you come to that just trial and error?
What happened is somebody asked for help, and it starts with saying yes. First of all, and someone says, hey, I would like for you, and yes. So yes, started huge, the whole process. So what happens with the word yes is then you create an opportunity for connection. And when you create connection, you create relationships. And then when you develop a relationship and have an ongoing conversation with individuals, you could actually learn about the effects and the challenges that they're going through. And I started, building these relationships with these warriors in transition. And I realized the effect of what was happening with surfing in their lives. And then I was able to make sure that certain elements were continued and certain elements were taken out. And then as each of the relationships, as each time I did it, I learned more and more about the challenges that they were going for. And then or trying to overcome. And then I was actually seeing these benefits of I guess the family atmosphere, the group setting was just as powerful. Is because we were actually creating a place to where they were in a loving environment with multiple people where they can see other people caring for the true motive to helping somebody for the right reasons. And so with that, that's where a lot of the program came from, was just the relationships and then the feedback of what was happening in their life, of what was good and bad. And so, not everything is perfect, but when something went wrong, that's when we learn from a mistake to do something different. And, which would then now, 10 years later, we have a curriculum that's based upon building relationships and a lifetime of support.
Now, I'm no expert on surf. I used to longboard out in Washington at a place called Westport, which is just brutally cold, and still loved it. But it is frustrating trying to get up on a board with all your limbs.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with I imagine that some of these guys are getting pretty frustrated and they're kind of upset anyway. What is it like?
Well, that's interesting, because as a surf coach, we want to make sure that we tee up people for success. And so part of that is putting them in the place where they should be in the water and understanding where you shouldn't be in the water, having the proper equipment and the guidance from the right people. And then once that is created, you actually, it's the only time that we've had any challenge of, I'm not going to say failure, but of challenge, I guess, is when the willingness really wasn't there. And that's why we have a vetting process to find the people that are willing to put the effort into, to attempt.
And that's just somebody who just doesn't want to overcome, and they just kind of, they're not there yet. They're just not there yet.
Well, yes, but I guess that's why it's important that even when you want to, doesn't necessarily say that you're going to, but when you could actually see others accomplishing something that you're kind of halfway committed to, allows us to find a little bit more willingness and purpose to move forward. And so, it's because one of the things is like, we're a nonprofit organization. And when we get a donated dollar, we want to make sure that the dollar donated is going to the maximum effectiveness of carrying out the outcome of what our mission is. And so, we try to do our best to get the right people in the program that want to be there, that will benefit from it. And
that's interesting. And you don't just do your own vetting, right? You're actually working with hospitals, and when somebody's ready, then they may hand them over to you, or what's the process?
At the CFI, Heather does most of her vetting out through the people that are in the facility going through a process. Now, when we work with local retired veterans and then veterans throughout the United States, is we have a vetting process that starts with a couple of our past participants. We go through a vetting process to making sure they're veterans, making sure who they are and what they are, and then they go through another process, and they got to write essays. They got to show the willingness of them for me to get to know a little bit about you. So when I get to know a little bit about you, is then I go through the pairing. I pair you up with your surf instructor that I think would best fit your personality and your needs and your goals. And then they're assigned to each veteran throughout the week to try to achieve that bond and that relationship.
Wow. So
a little bit more than just, you just don't come. I go through a big process about learning about who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you not tick, what triggers you, what brings you out of your challenges. Like, we put a lot into this.
It looks like family when you guys are all around. Like, is this a week? Is this is it a process where they're spending a lot of time? I heard one of your guys say it was almost like counseling, but it's not. It's just being around a bunch of fellow veterans.
That was Mike. Yeah, he's and those are our dinners. And so Operation Surf is a week-long curriculum-based program that has therapeutic results. We're not therapy. We're not treatment. What we are is a program that creates, the therapeutic results, which therefore it's been life-changing and life-saving. And so,
do these guys keep coming back again and again, or what do they do?
Yes, they want to, and quality problems are that we are developing alumni programs to where they can come back, but they are issued a job and a responsibility to be a part of the process during the week.
Very cool.
And also of limiting how many times they come back due to leaving a space for somebody that hasn't done it yet. And so with that, we're doing, alumni surf retreats in other locations to try to keep everyone moving and keeping the dream alive, and creating opportunities to dig deeper into, for just digging deeper into our story, which then I believe creates more connection, which then allows us to have more support and the family grows in a more way.
You have some pretty amazing instructors too. I could see some names in there that I recognize. And again, it's, are they volunteering, or are you like, how are you getting these guys?
Well, they started off volunteering, and then I started realizing that my expectation of the commitment of their time as I realized that I needed you there for 7 days, and I was realizing it's not. Tough. I know there's people that can, but the majority of people cannot take away a week out of their life, not only for their job but from their family. Without the compensation of it. That's just my personal feeling, because I want everyone's 110% engagement in our process and what our mission is. And so we went from volunteering to paid surf instruction is because of my high expectations of their time with us.
And did that make a difference? Did you see it pop up, or did you see?
Oh, yeah. So through our time, as I realized that when everyone was a volunteer, the deepest connections were made with the people that were there all week. And so then I realized the benefit of people being there all week long.
Yeah.
Because when I really looked at it, it made sense, is because, you know, I may meet somebody and go, yeah, you're a great person, but I only know this much of you. So therefore you're only getting this much of me. And why and how could you expect anyone to like let a process get to a certain level when you only know somebody this long? And for me, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you as much as I think you need to know, or that I will allow you to know. And then as more I get to know people, that's where the things get more intimate. And that's what Mike was talking about, because some of the most beautiful conversations that we have during the week are at dinner. And you know that breaking bread is one of the most, it's one of the most powerful times for connection throughout history, is at a meal. And so, you know, our surf instructors are not only there to take them surfing, they're there to, you know,
it's got to be intense, man. It's got to be intense for some of these guys.
It's intense, but it's fun. You know what I mean? It's because I don't, it's not like our mission is just to go out and support you during our week. And as things come up, that's why if I was your surf instructor, I would figure out what makes you tick and what makes you not, and what doesn't make you tick. And then I would do the things that are part of the solution and not like dig into, you know, increasing the problem. And that's why the interaction with the two people for a week long is so beautiful, is because the two people create a little team, and there's that attention and that fact, that focus, that value, that ability to reach those small obtainable goals. But then you do that 7 times or 8 times over, and sometimes 10 times over, and all of a sudden you have all these little teams doing and experiencing the same thing, going to dinners and sitting down with dinners at different times, sitting on the beach after surf sessions, interacting and talking, and all of a sudden at the end of it, that's why we you know, we don't throw this word around lightly, as ohana, and that means family in Hawaiian. And we create the feeling of family at the end of our week surfing together and going through this curriculum of, and we have a little nip, you know, with little things during the week also that allow us to be vulnerable in front of others, you know, in a closed setting, to allow people to have the trust that they can say what they need to say, and they'll be supported in the right way and judged as least amount as possible, even though judgment's still happening. I mean, you can't say that there's no judgment, but the fact is, you know, the judgment of all of us together doing the same thing is that we're all in this equal pot. And so it's really important for me to have people really tell the truth. The best environment that you can do that is by creating a trusting environment. And so that's what we focus on as an organization, as Operation Surf. Is it's like, I want you to go to a place that you feel safe. Okay.
See, it's all about family.
Yeah, it's all about family, huh, Kyle?
And I'm going to leave you with a few questions.
Okay.
So first off, if somebody, and hey, kids are awesome. I would never in 5 seconds stop this video. If you knew me, I was telling you, I lived aboard a boat for a couple of years with my daughter was a little bit younger than her, running around. It was kind of fun. But anyway, if somebody is a surfer, like I assume that you want pro level surfers, do you ever take regular layman surfers, or it can be anybody? So that if somebody's really really wants to be involved, is there a way that you vet those folks?
Yes, a little bit, is because one of our core values is our participants are the most important thing. And so we get a lot of people, you know, with the right motives to be helpful, but when it basically boils down getting into the ocean, the ocean is a unforgiving source of energy. And so some of the aspects of certain people, I mean, God bless everybody, but the fact is I search for the proper fit, and that's a lot of personality. I really look for people that have went through their own personal challenges in life, so they have something relatable to, like, like it's just not this big perfect image of whatever's going on. They have somebody around that is imperfect, that has an experience, that has overcome and succeeded to get to the other side. That's one of the elements I look for. One is having good energy in a group setting, being able to work with others, be willing to take directions, and when you put a bunch of leaders in the same room, it creates a lot of chaos. But that's not saying that a leader can't be involved. But when multiple leaders in one place understand that our ultimate goal is to achieve, our mission, and then that's the ability to work together that is so important. And then obviously it's understanding your population. We must understand and be able to speak the language that to where we don't trigger our participants with our behaviors or our words or our actions. And so it's like, I encourage people to reach out, but it's not an easy process. I'm actually currently I'm developing a training process that is a certification process for anyone to get into the water, to make sure that we are all speaking the same language. We're all on the same team. We all understand if, an emergency.
You got your hands full, brother, because that's a lot of stuff. Like, I imagine.
Well, I care. And when we seek and find to collaborate with other people, other groups, other organizations, is our core values are super important, and we want to stick by them, and we live by them, and I want to make sure, to my best ability, that anyone that does attend anything to do with Operation Serve, that you're going to see that we care, and that our hearts are in the right reason, in the right place. We do this for the right reason. We're not doing this for exposure. We're doing this to help. And
you need exposure, though. That's the thing. Is so many people don't realize what a big, huge issue.
Well, that's why doing these things are so important, because the fact is we can't help anybody without the dollar bill. And one of the goals of my legacy that I want to leave behind is that our heart is more important than the dollar bill, but our dollar bill is important to take care of the heart. So, I mean, it's a really fine line to operate in a corporate setting of business, but I'd rather keep things in line to where I'm caring about how we're affecting people versus doing whatever it takes to raise a dollar bill. Because I know there's people out there that will give with the trust that their dollar will be used the right way, and that are able to give unrestrictedly to allow us to do what's necessary with that dollar, so we could achieve our mission and to grow as healthy as possible, to continue to serve our populations. And that's why a lot of my intensity during our programs has been witnessed, is because I really am passionate about caring.
I just love it. This is so awesome. I love watching you. You're like sweating it now. I've done this so often.
My wife, my boss is, she's actually the CEO of Operation Surf. She's in another meeting at the office while I'm home working. She's going to just...
Hey, we've all gone through the pandemic, and you don't even worry about it. The thing is that people love, this is the thing, especially the folks that listen to me, they love authenticity. And there's tons of charities you can run around and throw money at and say, hey, I donated to X, Y, Z, and you feel real good about yourself. But you know, and I know 70, 80% of those dollars is going into somebody's pocket. So I love organizations where the dollars are going back to the people that you want to serve. And we need to help these young men and women that are coming back from war zones and all. I know that it's not. Is it just military now? Or I know you worked with disadvantaged youth and stuff.
Well, it is. Our primary focus today is our warriors that are in transition from whatever challenge that they have, but I do have a big vision, because I believe the curriculum that I've created will help any population.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's changed the language. It's changed the settings of the staff and volunteers. And I really believe with the proper support, I can help so many other populations. But we don't want to dilute our service and care by trying to do too much. That's why, we have a plan of
veterans
our growth is to maximize what we're doing now in a way that we, like one of the things is we want to utilize our past participants to create purpose of them helping not only other veterans, but maybe families of veterans and maybe other different populations, and using, their skill sets and their commitment to, an organization like us to give someone purpose and find a reason why I'm going to walk through this time, why I want to improve, why it's important to be the best me so I can be the best for you. And that's why wellness and self-care is so important for us.
For somebody who has a family member who's a veteran, is it all through CFI, or do you have people that get referred over because you have a son, daughter, spouse, sibling, whatever?
Only 1/3 of each program right now at this time comes from the CFI, because we have a third from all over the United States, and then I try to have a third from the community to involve the community, evolve our country, and then still create our relationship with the CFI going. But things are going to be different after this COVID time, so we're going to be adjusting our program, how we do it. Our main purpose and our main goal right now is to survive this time, but to become better through it.
We need you.
This time we might, we're probably going to have to adjust how we deliver our services, and to create an opportunity to allow the most important parts of our programs to still exist, but the numbers of people are obviously going to be trimmed down due to the circumstances of our pandemic.
I think you're going to come out of this great, because it's so needed. And then the thing about COVID, and I've been griping about it, but we have about 50,000 Americans that commit suicide every year as it is, and we're going to see that number go up substantially. And substance abuse goes up. For every 1% of unemployment, it's about 1% suicide increase and 1.6% substance abuse increase. We need groups like you more than ever. So if anybody can help, buy a T-shirt, donate. I can send them out to your website.
Yeah, operationserve.org, and we do have a store on our stuff to create.
I'll make sure to link it up, and we'll get it out there.
But I want to, with that message, I want everyone to know out there that it takes a village, and we're only the worker bees and the vessels of it. And so every part of everything that takes place for the whole year round, to the week prior to, the months prior to, the week during, and afterwards, every part of everybody that does something, either donating money, if that's the way you can, donating time, donating sweat equity, is part of our outcome. And so when you hear a testimony of what and how Operation Surf has changed or saved their life, you're a part of that. And I think it's really important for people to understand is we all give in the way that we can, and to support the mission of what is important to you. And so I just want to say that we can't do it without you. and you can't do it without us, but we all do it together in harmony to where we are able to be part of the solution. And so by all means, you need to understand, like, you are very, very important, no matter if you're just volunteering for 3 hours to take out trash, to the people that are donating hours and hours and countless time to help us run a program. And so it's all equal. It's all an even playing, and everyone is just as important.
Fantastic. I really appreciate you spending some time. I'm sorry to put you in the hot seat. Love your daughter. She's a sweetheart. I'll blur her out so you don't see the streaking 3-year-old in the back, so that
Okay, perfect.
right.
About what my wife was going to think about that.
We won't tell her. We'll keep it. We'll keep this on the slide. And I got to tell you, my assistant loves you guys. She's been stalking you and saying, "You got to talk to Van. You got to talk to Van," for so long. So you have some pretty rabid fans out there with good taste. So I'm glad we're able to get you on.
I so much appreciate it. And, it's an honor to be here, to be in a place to where I can help our country, and, to stay in my silo and not try to change everything, but just change one thing at a time and just do the best I can every day. And to understand that my freedom is not free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I learned this by being of service to our wounded, and by having these relationships. And I really realized how important our uniforms are to our country, to be free, to make the choices that we're able to do on a daily basis.
You said it perfect. Thanks, Van.
It's just an honor. So thank you.